Hello guys, you're welcome once again to another video of mine, and today we are going to be looking into some basics identity of trigonometry. So trigonometry, we might have studied about it in our early classes, and we know it deals with our special properties of triangle. So here today I will only talk about some stuffs when it comes to trig. So you just need to keep it in mind, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to keep it simple so for everybody to understand it properly. So dear student, I would urge you as usual to hold on to your notebooks, your writing materials, and to understand the concept very well. So let us get started about the trigonometry topic. So about that, we can just start by having a simple illustration. Excuse me, I'm having some challenges with my writing material here, and I'm trying to get over that. I should be able to do that in no time. So guys, talking about trig, as we say, it is just an aspect of mathematics that deals with the study of basically right angle triangle. So which I believe you might have studied in your early classes. So let us look at this diagram, not drawn to scale. So we have a right angle triangle, which I believe we all might have studied. And if not, you can still listen very well. So we consider angle, I can take the angle as theta, which is basically what almost all teachers love to use. So, and we consider the longest side as hypotenuse. I will denote that by h right from now. Keep it in mind. I take this as the opposite. Can also keep that in mind. We're taking it as O after now. And I go to the next one. I take as adjacent, which is I'll be taking as A after now. So many of us might have studied about Pythagoras theorem in early classes. So we are going to be using the knowledge of Pythagoras to derive some important formulas that we need in understanding this concept. So about that, I am going to be using a very, very simple method of Pythagoras formula to bring about these formulas. Now, from Pythagoras theorem, we all know that the hypotenuse square, I'll just take that as h, is equals to the opposite square plus the adjacent square. How students still remember this? So if we know this very well, we don't need to waste our time understanding the basics identity we need to keep in mind to solve questions. So in this video, I'm going to be bringing the three basics identity, and we're going to be using them to solve some questions within 30 minutes. So now from here, we can conclude that we take the first one. I believe you still remember some of your SOHCAHTOA. I believe everybody here still remember that. The SOHCAHTOA, that is a sine theta, cos theta, and tan theta. And the inverse of angle as well, which we call sec, cot. I'm only trying to bring it this, and cosec. So please always keep this in mind. I always tell you, look for the third alphabet to understand the concept very well. So sec, as you can see, the third alphabet here is C, that is inverse of cos theta. So keep that in mind anytime, any day, so that you don't make mistake. You see cot, the third alphabet here is T, and that will be inverse of tan theta. So please, I believe all this you might have studied in your early classes. And the third alphabet here is inverse of sine theta. So if not, I'm only trying to quickly talk about it before we go into what we need to discuss. So quick one here. The first one is we divide everything here from Pythagoras theorem by h squared. So remember this, h squared divided by h squared divided by h squared. So as you might have studied, this by this will give you 1. Now remember, you don't need to waste time. Opposite over hypotenuse. Now, from what I said, not quite long. I don't want you guys to be making silly mistake. Always keep that in mind. Now, here, you need to watch something. From here, you can quickly say from your mathematics of early classes. Opposite divided by hypotenuse. You guys, it's opposite by hypotenuse is sine theta. So you can say this is sine because of the squares. This goes as sine square. I'm taking it with respect to the angle here, which is theta. So opposite of hypotenuse here is sine. So that's sine square because of the square theta. Then plus, as you can see, this is adjacent. This is a hypotenuse. Now you need to be very careful. You have a adjacent over hypotenuse. You can see here, this is cos. So you can write this as cos square theta. So, and this is the first identity you need to keep in mind. So please always have this at the back of your mind that the first identity based on this, you have to memorize or keep in your mind is that sine square theta plus cos square theta is equals to 1. So be that as it may, we go to the next identity. About the next identity, we are still going to use the Pythagoras theorem, which we have carved out the other time. Here we have h squared is equals to hypotenuse square is opposite square plus adjacent square. This time around, we are not dividing by hypotenuse. We are dividing by what? By the opposite. So please note that. I want you guys to follow this. So because I don't want you to make any form of mistake. So let's divide by the opposite now in this case. So if we divide by the opposite, which is all, let's divide by the adjacent first to follow the proper way. Divide by the adjacent square, divide by adjacent square, we divide by adjacent square. We are still following the same methodology. So students should just follow me very well and please get every details of what I'm trying to explain. So from here we can say, from here we are going to have hypotenuse divided by adjacent is nothing but we just talked about that. Students just need to be careful because I don't want us to have any issues when it comes to this. We know this by this is 1. Look at this, opposite divided by adjacent. Say opposite divided by adjacent is sine squared. So here, watch, because I have explained what we call inverse of angle, as you can all see here. So watch, I said 1 divided by tan theta now is cot. So if tan is O over A, so that means cot will just be changing these parameters to be A divided by O. So I want you guys to understand their concept very well because we still have a long way to go in this video. So now, when you see h over a, watch here, it is a divided by h, that is cos. So you go for inverse of cos, and the one that has inverse of cos we call sec. So please, I will only try to show you this for understanding sake, and quickly we can write the answers to this. This will give us nothing but our cot. So this will be cot square theta is equals to opposite over adjacent. We have, sorry, I said cot. This is not cot, excuse me. Hypotenuse, you can see, hypotenuse adjacent is not cot. See, you can see it is sec. So we have a sec square theta is equals to opposite over adjacent is tan square theta plus 1. So that gives us the second identity, which we also need to keep in mind. So please keep that in mind too. It is very, very important for us to keep it in mind because we are going to directly use them in formulas. Now the third one, which will also be carved out from the same Pythagoras theorem we have learned in early classes. So now here about the third one, we can also rewrite the Pythagoras formula as we all know that Pythagoras formula is a hypotenuse square is equals to opposite square plus adjacent square. I hope we are all following this. And if we are having any issues, you can always drop them in the comment box for better explanation. So now, moving on, we are going to divide now by the opposite. You can see the first one by hypotenuse, the second by adjacent, the third by opposite. So if I divide by opposite square, and I also have a opposite square. So from what I've explained now, without any further delay, I can quickly write out what is needed. So from here, hypotenuse over opposite, you can see this is opposite by opposite. So we are looking for inverse of sine. So from what I've explained, the inverse of sine is nothing but cosec. So here you write cosec square theta is equals to this by this is 1 plus adjacent over opposite is inverse of cos of tan. So and that is cot square theta. So guys, these are the basics identity you have to keep in mind every time because they are very, very important. And that is why I've tried to highlight each and every one of them for better understanding of this thing. So please, these are the three major identities which we call the fundamental identities of trigonometry. So keep that in mind. You can rewrite them in any form you like it. I think it is easier to memorize in this form, putting one as subject of formula for each of them. You can see 1 is equals to sine square theta plus cos square theta. And also say 1 is equals to, we have a sec square theta. I am only rearranging what we have written down plus, I said plus, it should be minus, excuse me, tan square theta. And the third one, you can also rearrange as 1 is equals to, you can see, 1 is equals to, you have cosec square theta minus cot square theta. So these are the three identities that I am talking about here, and we are going to use each and every one of them to do it, to solve some questions. So now we are in the 11th minute. We have 25 minutes to run this class. So it's just basic introduction to trigonometry, and that's the aim of this lesson. So guys, haven't done that, we are going to take the first example. Now let's take the first example. Now example 1. So about the first example, we can quickly look into a very, very simple case with using the property 1 that I have explained. So I will only limit the first example with respect to property 1. So I will not go to property 2 and property 3 without talking about property 1. So dear students, let us look into property 1 with example. So based on property 1. So let's take a simple example. And property 1, remember, is a sine square theta plus cos square theta is equals to 1. So keep it in mind. I will use this property to give questions for us. So let's take the first one. Now we have if, let me just take it very calm. If we have let's say sine theta, I want to give us 1 sine theta plus cos theta is equals to 7/5. Just trying to form something that is a little bit not difficult for us. Then we have to find, find sine theta cos theta. Remember, this class is for JUPEP students as well as WAEC for the math student and NECO student. So please, if we look into this, from our basic formula we know before, look at this, guys. We are to use this formula to get this because that's the only one that has sine and cosine. So doing that directly, what we need to do here is that we have to square both sides in order to get sine square theta and cos square theta. So direct solution, I can go by saying sine theta plus cos theta all square is equals to 7/5 all square. I hope students are getting this. What I've just done here is that I square both sides so that I'll be able to use the first property. So now, from here, we should be able to understand that it is very easy for us to actually expand. I hope students still remember a plus b all square. So doing that, we are going to have sine square theta plus cos square theta plus 2 sine theta cos theta is equals to, as you can see, 7 squares are 49 and 5 squares are 25. And remember that sine square theta plus cos square theta, from what I said, is what? 1. So you have 1 plus 2 sine theta cos theta is equals to 49 over 25. So I hope students are getting this. So now you can say 2 sine theta cos theta is equals to, you can see, just collect your like times. This one we move to the other side. 49 over 25 minus 1. So doing that directly, I hope all my students can finish this. So now it's kind of very, very simple to get answer. So here, what you do here is just, you have 2 sine theta cos theta is that, then here this should give you, this is like saying LCM is 25, 49 minus 25 is 24 by 25. That is the value of 2 sine theta cos theta. So I don't want you guys to have issues with all this. That is why I'm taking it very simple, slow, and steady. So now directly, you can now make sine theta cos theta your subject. Is now equals to, you divide by 2, 24 over 25 divided by 2. Everybody knows that when you divide number by 2, it will come over, and your answer to this is nothing but 24 over 50. So please always keep that in mind, because I don't want you to have any issues with this. Oh, 24 over 25 times 2 over 1. So please always keep that in mind. It should give us a 12 over 25. So please keep that in mind. So this is 12 by 25 will be the correct answer. So what I did here for beginners is just 24 divided by 25 and times 1 over 2. So you can see 2 will get this to 12, and this should be the right answer to my first question. So keep it in mind, guys, because these are very, very important things I want us to keep in mind, because it's very, very important to understand concepts before going towards difficult questions. So we can also talk about, before we go towards 2, you also need to remember, when you talk about Pythagoras theorem in early classes, you might have also talked about what is called triplet. So let me quickly introduce you to what important triplet. There are a lot of triplets, but there are some important triplets you need to keep in mind. I get in it. In my other videos, I have all triplet between 1 to 90, which is important for geometry aspect of mathematics. So, but for the one we use in basic identities are just the 3, 4, 5, which is kind of the direct one. The 5, 12, 13, which I believe you know. And if you don't know, there is always a first time to everything. And the 8, 15, 17. There are lots more. But these are the major ones you can keep in mind for now. So there are lots more. So please keep that in mind. There are lots more. So I have a lot about them. So 36, 63, 36, 33, 36, and 63, to mention but few. There are many. So we also have 8, 6, 10, whatever. But I am not going to talk about triplets here in this video. So please keep that. So 33, 56, and 65 is another one. But for now, we don't need that for simple understanding. So please always keep that in mind, because it is important. We are going to use this to solve some questions as we move on. So let's go to question 2, because I'm going to use that to solve questions and to get answers that way. But if I know triplets, you know that the first questions I have here, I can do it directly from my knowledge of triplets. That is another way to understand the mathematics. Now, apart from the basis identity that you have seen here, my dear student, we can also solve this question using the knowledge of triplets. So now, how will I solve it using the knowledge of triplets? I can quickly show you that also for you to understand very well. So now, watch. In the given question, I was given sine theta. I'm just trying to make sure you guys understand all basic concept, plus cos theta is equals to 7 over 15 or 7 over 5. So now, let's use what we've done here. We know sine of an angle. Everybody knows that sine of an angle is nothing but opposite over hypotenuse. Everybody also knows that cos of an angle is adjacent over hypotenuse. I'm only trying to show this is now equals to 7 by 15 and 7 by 5. Now here, from here, look at this, guys. Opposite plus adjacent. Opposite plus adjacent as you can see now. Opposite plus adjacent. So we can rewrite this one as opposite plus adjacent over hypotenuse is common. It's like going by LCM. So is equals to 7 over 5. So I hope you are still getting this. You can just go for any method you like. On a normal day, if not for the fact I want students to get it, I've solved the question. We can move on to the next one. So what we're trying to say is opposite plus adjacent is 7. We are setting something like ratio, setting equivalence, and hypotenuse is 1. So here, I don't think we should have anything difficult to understand in this. We can now bring in our, what we call our right angle triangle, just like this, to solve the question and get the answer. So if you still have issues, you can always ask questions about anything you don't understand in the comment section. So here, what I'm trying to say now is that for my right angle triangle that I talked about, now, the only thing I can bring out here is that I have only know this side to be 5. So which is the hypotenuse? So which was 5. Now, students should understand something. So you just have to use your applied knowledge of mathematics to get some stuff. You don't need to disturb yourself when you are dealing with this. Now, look at my Pythagoras theorem. In my Pythagoras theorem, I know a triplet that has 3, 4, 5. So now I will just, look for, this is 7. I can go by what we call trial and error. I can break 7 down into 3 plus 4, as you can see, divided by 5. So that will give me my opposite to be 3, my adjacent to be 4. So here, if I put 5 here, my opposite here is 3. My adjacent here is 4, as you can see. So now, directly, I have the given sides. So if the examiner asks me to find sine theta, cos theta, now I have the triplet. Then from the knowledge of triplet, I can give it a trial and put sine theta as opposite over adjacent. You have 3, opposite over hypotenuse, 3 by 5, multiply by, then I go to the other one. You can see cos theta is adjacent over hypotenuse, that is 4 over 5. And directly here, I can say this is nothing but 12 over 25. So you can see one thing about mathematics, no matter the methods your teacher is using in classroom, you can always have it in mind that mathematics is going to arrive at the same answer if the working process are followed. So keep it in mind. So anyone you choose to know more, or anyone you believe you understand better, you can always use to get answers to this question. So both is giving us the same answer, though I prefer the first method because we are talking about the basics identity of trigonometry. Now, be that as it may, we can still take one more example because this is 23 minutes. Let's quickly rush into another example and see how to solve other questions. So let me take one more example in this slide for understanding's sake. This is mathematics, and the example I'm taking, I would call that question 2. So for question 2, so let's also say we have if sine theta cos theta is equals to, here we have 17 over 13. Only trying to form something, 17 over 13. So the question, let's find, this is sine theta plus cos theta. This sine theta plus cos theta is 17 over 13. Find sine theta cos theta. I want to stop exactly by 25 minutes. So that is why I'm kind of rushing myself now, guys. So now from what I've explained, the second method, look at this, look at the triplet. You can see 13 is under, so 17 is up, 5 plus 12 is 17. You can apply the knowledge. So directly, you can just say here, watch, without wasting your time. So here is 13. So you need sine theta cos theta. You can see this will go for it. So 5 is opposite. So you can say 5 over 13 times cos theta, 12 over 13. You can just see that. So that is just some shortcut I use, and most students always find it very like a wonder. So it's nothing special, guys. That is why I said I will take it to YouTube to explain everything to you very well. So those are ways in which I solve questions without wasting time. So guys, that's all for now. So you can see it is kind of simple and not difficult. So I'm going to give him 5 minutes more. So maybe I should take one more example for understanding's sake. That is good. So question 3 in this slide. In our question 3, we are given sine theta over x is equals to cos theta over y. So the examiner asks us to find, you can see mathematics sometimes, sine theta minus cos theta. So that's the third question here. I just took 5 minutes to be enough to explain this without rushing you guys. Now, a quick one, guys. Now, from what I've just explained now, remember we have here, the way this question was arranged will not favor you. So you have to rearrange it in such a way that you have, look at this, guys, sine theta is just the ability to think. That is what math entails. Divided by cos theta is now equals to x over y. As you can see, dear student, it is the same thing because sine theta is taking y, sine theta is taking y, cos theta is taking x. So from here, guys, a direct way of getting answer is just like saying here, from here, I can just go by saying sine theta over cos theta is tan theta. So you can say tan theta, we've talked about that. Tan theta is equals to x over y. So what is tan? Tan is opposite. So here, you can say, sorry for rushing, it is because of the minute. So we can say tan theta is equals to x over y. So from what we've discussed, it's not easy for you to get it because now you can draw your rectangle triangle and get the answer to the question. So from here, if we draw the rectangle triangle here, my dear student, we can say here, tan is you can what I'm talking about now. Tan is opposite over adjacent. So Pythagoras theorem, this will give you x squared plus y squared. So I hope students are following this because it's very, very important in what? In roots. So keep that in mind. So you have all the three sides that is needed to solve this question. So looking for sine theta minus cos theta, it will now be equals to, you don't need to disturb yourself. So now we have sine theta minus cos theta. Sine theta, you can put it, sine theta will be equals to, look at this, opposite over, all these I'm not supposed to be showing, but I want you guys to get them very clearly. Hypotenuse is square root of x squared plus y squared. I've gotten that from Pythagoras theorem, minus cos theta is y over square root of x squared plus y squared. You know, you cannot leave answers like this. You have to make it a unique solution. So it will be x minus y all over square root of x squared plus y squared. So that is the answer to that, guys. You can see it is very easy when you understand concepts. You'll be able to get them without any further delay. So guys, you can also solve this with another method, but I have less than 2 minutes more. The second method is from the knowledge of what we've talked about using what? The characteristics of angle. So if we want to use that here, we can actually solve quickly also with method 2. Let me see if I can do that in no time. So let's see with method 2 if it is possible. So look at method 2. I will take to this side of the board. So look at method 2. So if I'm using method 2, I can say here, sorry, I have to rush you guys. So if sine theta, you know, I have rearranged over cos theta is equals to x over y. The time is not going to be enough, but let's try. So if we do something like, I call it elimination of angle method, it is very, very fast. So I can say, okay, fine. If I say sine theta is having a particular answer, which is equals to kx, sorry, I'm rushing. I will continue in the next slide to explain very well. And I'm taking cos theta also to be equals to ky. So K here I'm taking as a constant, my dear student. So what I want to do here is that I'm kind of doing something like a mathematical illustration. So I know from here, you just have to you have to understand something, because if I'm trying to use this, I'm looking at you not getting this. This is 30 minutes. So, but it is a very, very simple method if you understand this shortcut method I call elimination angle method. So if I say I'm looking for, the question asks me to look for sine theta minus cos theta. So sine theta minus cos theta will be kx minus ky. So now I will still explain this in my next slide when I continue with basics of identity 2. So which you can factorize as k open bracket. If you have k open bracket x minus y from factorization. So now watch, guys. So the only unique thing here, I've used more than 30 minutes, which is not always good. So will be the solution to the question, because I'm looking for sine theta minus cos theta. So it is kind of rough. So from here, you have to watch something, because I'm going to use this to get my answer. Sine theta over cos theta. Everybody knows. But this sine theta over cos theta, I've explained that here. I told you sine theta over cos theta is what is instantive. But one thing I will use here, I don't want to use that. I want to use my basic identity. Now, remember this basic identity is that sine squared theta plus cos squared theta is equals to 1. So I'm going to use that by squaring both sides. Guys, I am only squaring this. So this is the method I also use very well. And students do find it as if I'm doing some kind of magic. I am not a magician. I'm only trying to show you that you can solve mathematical questions without wasting time. So sine squared, this is sine squared theta plus cos squared theta. I'm squaring both sides and I'm adding. So please follow me. Sine squared theta plus cos squared theta, everybody knows is 1. Is now equals to, look at this, k times k is what? K squared. As you can see, we open brackets, then we have x squared plus y squared. So now, as you can see now, make case of your formula without wasting time. You can see this, that k squared will be equals to 1 over that. But k directly, I hope students are getting this, will be 1, a square root of 1 is still 1, over square root of x squared plus y squared. So now you can see. So these are short things you need to keep in mind. So here from here, I've gotten my answer, because my answer from here, dear student, is just to substitute the value of k into this expression. So this is my answer, and I am going to put k here. And if I substitute that, then I have the answer here. I'm being given a hand to stop this video. So here, the answer here will now be equals to k answer is 1 over this. Then my answer to the question will now be x minus y, if I substitute the value of k, over, because anything multiplied by 1 is that thing, square root of x squared plus y squared. So guys, always have it in mind that whatever the method you are using in mathematics, if you are solving well, your answer will be the same. You can see that this answer is the same as the answer we have put in here. And that is why mathematics is unique. So guys, see you guys soon. Thank you for joining me. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel for an update and click on the notification button. Bye for now.